Alright, yo, what's up guys? It is Sage Samurai. I'm gonna just jump right into this right now. This is What If Naofumi Had Whitebeard's Powers, part 2 to the series. Yes, that's right guys, part 2. And yeah, I'm gonna be posting today. So guys, if you guys have not heard about the news, on the Great Sage channel, I have finally reached 1K. So, yep, I'm very happy, I'm very excited. Plus, just letting you guys know here on the Sage Samurai channel, I have not forgotten about you. So I will be posting a Naruto What If on this channel as well, like I did on the Great Sage one. This What If is going to be very cool. It's a very interesting one, so I hope you guys will like it. But besides all that, enough of me talking. Let's go ahead and get right into this. So, yeah, let's get started.
You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do?
Alright guys, so let's begin the story. Now Naofumi would be grinding, as it's been a couple of days since the incident. Naofumi will be grinding up levels, learning his haki and his abilities, as he actually begins to unlock even more shields. Now, Naofumi, during his whole grinding session, his mastery over haki would have increased, plus he also would have begun to master his Conqueror's haki and his Observation haki, as well as mastering his Quake abilities, as he's actually getting way more powerful. And so Naofumi also realized that he has both an amazing defense and a very incredible offense, as he estimated these two moves are like the main reason that keeps him going. As well as Naofumi had also unknowingly had created a small essential business. That being, he now sells, well, herbs and everything that he goes ahead and enhances due to the fact that he's the shield hero to merchants and more. Due to this, he is actually able to make more profit, and by using the money that he got from the kingdom, that he was actually able to invest more into it, and he's able to make more money than he does in canon. However, Naofumi did begin to realize that he's gonna sooner or later begin to run into some bumps on the road. That being that some merchants try to overprice him, some of them just try to outright deny him, but due to Naofumi's Conqueror's haki, he's able to at least show them like, hey yo, I am not the one to mess with, so they go ahead and be put in their place. So that means Naofumi is able to get in there, not get overpriced, luckily. But, you know, he's able to show them out, be like, hey, yo, watch your tone, don't talk to me. Don't look at me for the rest of the night. So, yeah, Naofumi is a badass. As Naofumi, we now see Naofumi currently right now. He was just sitting now in a tavern, just there, waiting for some drinks. The man will be giving Naofumi the hardest stink eye, like, bro. But Naofumi would ignore it, considering the fact that, I mean, shoot, you got a problem with me? You want to try something? So, yeah. At this, Naofumi will go ahead and drink some water, as suddenly 3 men will go ahead and walk up. Hey, look, if it isn't the shield hero, they would say. At this, one of the men will have an arrogant smile, a smug look on his face, and says, I heard that you're looking for some party members. We'll join your party. At this, Naofumi goes ahead and then says, well, guys, office is open. Let's discuss business, he would say. At this, they all go ahead and walk outside, as Naofumi, after leading them all outside, would say, alright, cut the shit. Hurry up and tell me what you want. At this, the man will laugh, saying, good. Hand over all your money and valuables. At this, Naofumi goes ahead and gives them a blank answer. No. Now, this would just cause the men to be pissed, as they all rush at the shield hero. However, Naofumi was not one to mess with. At this, he goes ahead and says, bow. At this, suddenly, the Conqueror's Spear will go ahead and shoot out Naofumi, causing the men to actually fall down to their knees, and to think that Naofumi was holding back on his Conqueror's Spirit. What the? As they couldn't believe they were actually bowing to this man. As Naofumi goes ahead and says, next time you try something like that, I'll end you, he would say, with an evil smirk. At this, the bandits now realize who they're messing with. This is a fucking shield hero. He will mess you up. So with that, they do the one logical thing that anyone can do in this situation. They get up and run for their lives. Pathetic, Naofumi would say. However, this is when suddenly he would then sense a presence as he goes ahead and turns the corner to see a real shady looking man over there in the corner. So, I heard that you're looking for party members, the man would say with a smile. Not that Naofumi really trusted that smile, but eh. So we go ahead and do a change of scene to when Naofumi goes ahead and actually gets taken to some weird place. As Naofumi was inside this area, he would see a bunch of cages and things locked up in it. Ugh, what the heck is this place? Naofumi would ask. At this, said merchant will go ahead and give him a smile. Well, here you can go ahead and buy slaves. As if he was the man just said it as if it was like a nonchalant thing. At this, Naofumi gave this man like the hardest look of disgust that he can give him. But then again, Naofumi then needs to realize that this is a different world, and the only way for him to survive is that he needs to abide by this world's rules. Even though the system, obviously, as long as he's with the system, then he should be okay. Fine, I do it. Not that I like it though. At this, the man goes ahead and nods. However, this when he would then be shoved as he then gets a glare by Naofumi. But let me go ahead and make something clear. First of all, don't even think I'm gonna start making some shady deals with you. I think I'm just gonna sell something to you. I have morals, alright? At this, he'll go ahead and let go of the man, which the man goes ahead and nods as he begins to show Naofumi his collection. Now, while walking around, Naofumi would see a bunch of beasts and everything, but that's not what interests him right now. Right now, the interesting was actually a small little girl right now who looked like she was on the verge of death. What's up with her? Naofumi would think. At this, Naofumi began to walk over to the cage as the man was still on his rant about them until he actually sees Naofumi walking to the girl. Oh, I wouldn't get that one if I were you. She's already on her deathbed, as you can clearly see, he would say. At this, Naofumi would look at the girl as he didn't know why. Naofumi would never know, even in the future, he would never know why. But he decided that he would actually take her. At this, Naofumi would go ahead and ask how much for her. At this, the man would actually look at Naofumi and says, didn't you hear me? She's on her. At this, Naofumi would go ahead and shut him up with a glare. I said, how much is she? At this, the man goes ahead and gulps as he then says, well, if you must know, she's actually... At this, he begins to explain the price of how much she costs, and Naofumi, without any hesitation, gives him the money, which the man would then say, wow, well, very good. At this, the man would go ahead and open the girl's cage, allowing the small raccoon girl to be out, as he would then go ahead and grab this weird ink, as he goes ahead and puts a feather in there as he prepares to draw something on this girl. However, Naofumi's senses begin to act up as he can obviously tell that this was not good. As the man was about to place, he would go ahead and grab the man's arm. What are you doing? He would say. At this, the man goes ahead and looks at Naofumi. Which, by the way, a PS, guys, if you guys hear banging in the background, that's because you're doing construction work. And I'm sorry, I can't do anything about it. I'm sorry about it. So please, if you could, please ignore it. But let me continue on. At this, the man goes ahead and gulps. He's like, Sir Shield Hero, I'm putting on the slave crest. That way they can always listen to you. At this, Naofumi goes ahead and gives him a harsh glare. I don't want it. At this, he's like, are you sure? At this, he will go ahead and nod as the man shrugs, putting the ink back, as the girl was looking at all this in shock. Hey, sorry about that. Sorry, this is awkward. How about we go ahead and get a bite to eat? He would ask. At this, that girl was at first nervous, but she would nod, as they would go ahead and take her. He would go ahead and take her to a tavern. So eventually, one day arrived at the tavern. Once again, the usual dirty glares, but Naofumi doesn't care. As he goes ahead and orders some food for the both of them, the girl devours it. Like literally instantly, the food is gone. Jeez, does that man ever feed her? At this, Naofumi goes ahead and stops eating as he then says, All right, I think it's about time we do introductions. My name is Naofumi, he would say. Okay, so what's your name? He would ask. At this, the girl was at first hesitant until she would then say, My name is Raftalia, master. At this, Naofumi goes ahead and looks at her. No. You're not doing this master thing. Call me Naofumi. That's my name. At this, she's like, but I can't. At this, Naofumi goes ahead and says, no, you can. Stop calling me master. I'm going to say this one more time. At this, the girl was at first hesitant, but she would oblige at her master's command. even though she still thought of him as a master. So at this, Naofumi goes ahead and nods. He and says, look, I don't know how well the world here or how slaves things work here, but we're not like that, alright? You're now free. Now, as much as I would like for you to accompany and join me in my party, it's ultimately up to you. Mostly, the only reason I paid that guy was to get you out. So let me ask, what do you like to do? At this, the girl at first looked at Naofumi in complete shock until she would then look down. What could she do? It's not as if she had any parents now. At this, she was still remembering that evil night where she saw that hideous beast ending her parents' life right in front of her. At this, she goes ahead and looks at Naofumi and she then says, well, I don't have anything else to do, Sir Naofumi, so if I could accompany you. At this, Naofumi goes ahead and sighs. She's a shy type. Oh my god. At this, he goes ahead and sees her cough now all of a sudden, as he actually has a worried expression. Are you okay? Now, let me mind you, this Naofumi was more intelligent than the one in canon. Now, don't get me wrong, he's only rude to people who are rude to him. Because this Naofumi, unlike in canon where Naofumi lost like everything, this Naofumi, he was already suspicious enough and he already had a heads up. His senses were more inclined. And plus, he was leveling up faster, so Naofumi was not a total D-hole like he was in canon. Until he finally loosened up. At this, Naofumi then goes ahead and says, you're sick, aren't you? At this, the girl will go ahead and give a small nod, as Naofumi, without any hesitation, says, alright, we're getting you medicine now. At this, said girl was shocked as Naofumi tells her to continue eating her food, as he tells her that he will be right back. Now, hearing this, the girl would actually be afraid as she actually tells Naofumi not to leave her, but Naofumi actually tells her that he'll be right back. Just like that, Naofumi dashes off at amazing speeds, as the only thing that can be left behind by him was dust. At this, that girl was now afraid, as she will go ahead and look around the room to see multiple people just looking at her with disgust. As remember, still being a demi-human, that gives people usually give demi-humans the look of disgust. At this, she begins to go ahead and cower in fear, as she thinks that Naofumi had abandoned her, just like her parents, which they didn't really, but still, she sort of puts it like that. However, just like that, suddenly, once again, the doors open to reveal Naofumi, who had brought back a bunch of medicine for Raphtalia to go ahead and be healed. Alright, here, take this, he would say. At this, Raphtalia at first was not really too happy about it, but after a look from Naofumi, she goes ahead and does so, only to find out that it was extremely bitter. Good, if it's bitter, that means it's working. At this, Raphtalia goes ahead and chugs it all down, even though she disliked it, as after that, Naofumi went ahead and bought her another plate of food, much to her liking. So after that was done, Naofumi went ahead and actually formed a party with Raphtalia. As with that, now Raphtalia was now part of Naofumi's party. So after all that, Naofumi would actually go days by days, actually grinding in the forest, as he was now level 21, which was really high, which was actually pretty high for now. As he was still grinding up levels, for some weird reason, he's been seeing that Raphtalia has been actually getting more engaged and actually wants to fight these monsters. At first, he was confused until he realized there was a skill. So apparently, this skill makes all party members gain experience. So whenever a party member gains experience, he also gains it. So that means if he gains experience, also does his party members. So at this, he now realized why Raphtalia was now gaining levels. Plus, it also explained why she was more eager to fight. At this, over time, he'd go ahead and continue fighting, and eventually Raphtalia actually ends up beginning to learn how to fight, as after she saw Naofumi fight for so many times, she decided why not go ahead and try to join in on that. So Naofumi goes ahead and does the most rational thing that a person could possibly do. He taught Raphtalia how to fight. Now, at first she was still nervous and everything, but she did eventually get the hang of fighting, and she also figured out that Naofumi was a shield hero. Flashback. Naofumi would just be there, sitting down, as a fire was right now burning in front of them, as he was now cooking 2 fishes for them. At this, Raphtalia had actually began to like notice Naofumi's shield, as it's crazy considering the fact that's the only thing he had on him. At this, she would then ask Naofumi about the shield, with Naofumi going ahead and saying sarcastically, "Oh, me? I'm the so-called shield hero, the person who's supposed to be the savior of all." At this, Naofumi would just laugh at his own joke, considering the fact even though he was a hero, apparently, he was treated more like a demon. At this, however, Raphtalia goes ahead and be in shock. "You're the shield hero?" she would say. At this, Naofumi at first was confused, but he would just nod. "Yeah, what's up?" At this, she began to tell about the stories about how the shield hero was actually worshipped in her where she was, born, and that pretty much everyone was told stories about the young hero. At this, Naofumi was actually surprised. There were actually people that liked the shield hero. That's a first. After this, Naofumi goes ahead and chuckles. She's like, "You know what? I knew there was a good reason when I met you." At this, Raphtalia will go ahead and feel happy once again, and she can't believe she's actually accompanying the shield hero on his journey. So due to that, the bond between Naofumi and Raphtalia got closer. Not how y'all think. It's more like brother and sister, alright? So I don't want y'all to get some, I'm pretty sure, because last time I did a shield hero what if, some people were telling me to go ahead and ship those two. I'm like, nope. So yeah, I'm just watching, alright? Be careful. Act right. So after that, Naofumi and Raphtalia, they went ahead and continued getting stronger. And over time, Raphtalia began getting taller and taller. Naofumi never really understood it, as he really didn't pay attention to it. But Naofumi's hair also grew longer, as his hair was actually growing just like Whitebeards. Now, he won't have the Whitebeard mustache, because I'm sorry, Naofumi with that Whitebeard, he could pull it off. But Naofumi, nah, bro, he can't. He just can't with that. Now, Raphtalia, she actually wanted to go ahead and cut off Naofumi's hair, but Naofumi went ahead and told her not to, considering the fact that he's like, bro, you know how many people wish to get their hair as long as this? Like, nah, bro, I'm good. At this, it just stuck with him. So eventually, over time of moments with grinding, Naofumi reached a level of freaking 31, while Raphtalia eventually reached a level of 16. Now, back in a certain guild, we go ahead and see a certain blacksmith who's right there just stumped, considering the fact that he's not been getting any of the per huge. However, just like that, he'll then hear ringing, as he then says, welcome to, oh, it's you, kid. At this, he will then see Naofumi walk in, as Naofumi went ahead and he looked, different. At this, Naofumi, he looked, taller, first of all. Plus, his hair gotten longer, and that cape, or the robe that he gave him, looked really dope now. At this, Naofumi goes ahead and says, "Hey, it's been a while." At this, the man will just nod until he turns to Raphtalia. He's like, "Whoa, I guess the pipsqueak got even bigger now." At this, said girl would actually pout, that being Raphtalia, as, she had gone ahead and got taller due to the fact that she was leveling up. As she then says, "Well, I see you're as rude as ever." At this, the man, shrugs, saying, "I'm sorry for being rude." Not that he really meant it. As both of them will go ahead and chuckle at this I cannot talk, jeez. This normal conversation of theirs. So, after that, Naofumi goes ahead and asks if they can get any armor, which the man says, "You got the money?" Which Naofumi goes ahead and nods, giving him a smile. Alright, bet. So this is where, just like in canon, Naofumi gets the same armor that he does in canon. As Naofumi, when he looks at it, he's like, "Jeez, does it have to be this?" he would say. At this, the man shrugs. "Come on, kid. That looks good on you. Come on now." At this, Naofumi didn't really want to agree with him. He shrugged, as he had to admit, even though he could somehow pull it off. So after that, they'll go ahead and actually walk out, as the man would actually stop them. "By the way, have you guys heard of the waves?" he said. At this, they'll go ahead and stop as they turn to him, as he then says, "The waves are forming soon. I'm pretty sure that the people here would not give you any tips or ideas, so I decided to let you know." At this, Naofumi just goes ahead and nods. He's like, "Well, good reminder," he would say. At this, Raphtalia would nod with him, as both of them will actually go off to go ahead and prepare for the waves. Now we go ahead and actually begin to see Naofumi and Raphtalia as they were both walking through the town, only to receive dirty glares at Naofumi, of course, as Raphtalia couldn't believe it. She had heard of Naofumi's predicament, and she had to admit the people here were natural scumbags. It's like they literally are blindly following that stupid king, which made no sense. I mean, what did the guy even know? Yeah, he was the king of the country, but he's human too. And they're just like a human, they lie, they hate. He can do the same thing as them. So that doesn't mean that they should trust him. So with that, Naofumi would eventually arrive at the area of the hourglass. As soon as he arrives there, his shield would then be hit with a beam, causing it to go ahead and a timer to appear for both Naofumi and Raphtalia. Great, Naofumi would say. At this, he begins to prepare to leave until suddenly he would then hear a voice. Well, look who it is. This damn shield hero. At this, not Naruto. Nope. Naofumi would actually go ahead and already know this irritating voice. Great, he would say. As this, suddenly Motoyasu would then walk in with this party, as Naofumi then looks at Raphtalia, giving her the signals to ignore them. As she agrees, Raphtalia tries to walk. As mine, she goes ahead and speaks. Hey, answer Motoyasu-sama when he's talking to you. At this, Naofumi goes ahead and looks at her. I don't gotta give him shit. As he goes ahead and walks off, as Motoyasu goes ahead and turns to Raphtalia just as she was about to leave. At this, he goes ahead and grabs her by the arm. Ah, sweet girl, what's your name? At this, Naofumi then turns to him. Yeah, I wouldn't do that if I were you. At this, he goes ahead and Motoyasu goes ahead and turns to him. However, this is when he would then feel a sharp pain at his intestines. Oh, no! He would say, Little Spear Jr. Motoyasu, the spirit hero, had just taken a nice, good knee to the balls from Raphtalia, as she did not like it when people go ahead and act all friendly with her, even if she didn't know them. At this, she begins to walk off, as Mine was in shock. She then says, How dare you! As she goes ahead and prepares to fire a spell, but just like that, she would then fall onto her knees. What? As well as everyone in the room does, except for Raphtalia, who is protected by it. Watch who you're aiming an attack to, Naofumi would say, as he releases Bloodlust. At this, everyone will feel it, along with Naofumi's Conqueror Spirit, was just radiating off of him. Just how powerful is he? Motoyasu would think, as he was now in anger that Naofumi may be stronger than him. Mine just couldn't believe it. What is the power of the shield hero? She would say. At this, Naofumi then turns to Raphtalia. Come on, let's go. At this, she will go ahead and nod, walking away from all of them, not before giving them all one more harsh glare, before walking with Naofumi. So after that, Naofumi goes ahead and decides, maybe after the waves, they can go ahead and go out of town, so that way they can go ahead and grind up more levels, as he was definitely not getting any stronger here. Considering the fact that Naofumi actually grind up his Conqueror Spirit to the point where it can literally knock out all the beasts in the area just from doing it. At this, Raphtalia actually agrees with it, as suddenly the timer was continuing going. So we go ahead and do a time skip to when it was finally time for the waves. As just like that, the final countdown was done, and it was finally time for the waves attacks. So we go ahead and now see Naofumi and pretty much everyone get teleported to the waves. As soon as they arrive there, they see all the chaos and corruption. The sky had turned multiple different colors, and pretty much it was now carnage all over the place. At this, Naofumi would go ahead and look around, as he would obviously see Motoyasu and the rest of the heroes going to take on, or less going to a different direction. As Naofumi goes ahead and turns to Raphtalia. Let them take care of, go ahead and let those fools do what they want. We'll go ahead and protect the village, alright? At this, Raphtalia would nod, taking out a sword, as she goes ahead and begins to dash off at amazing speeds, along with Naofumi, as they both dash off to the village. Now, when they arrive at the village, they will see that it was actually getting attacked by a bunch of monsters. However, just like that, Naofumi will flex his Conqueror Spear, knocking down at least half of them. Dang it, did you really have to do that? Said Raphtalia. She really wanted a piece of the action. I left you half, didn't I? Naofumi would say. At this, she wanted to talk more, but she decided to shrug it off, even though she did say, well, You're lucky, I guess. At this, she goes ahead and dashes off to take care of the rest of the beasts. As the first time she actually goes ahead and sees the beast, she then remembers about when she was a kid. And this is where we actually have another flashback. Now, during the time that was spent with Raphtalia and Naofumi, he eventually found out about Raphtalia's past, about her parents. And Naofumi actually went ahead and actually helped Raphtalia emotionally get through the whole situation. As even though it was pretty much difficult for her, she eventually did overcome it. It was now able to go ahead and defeat these monsters, knowing that she does show she's protecting others from having the same thing that happened to her. So after that, Raphtalia, after seeing the big monster coming towards her, she goes ahead and slices down at them with no mercy. As they go ahead and begin to take care of all the beasts and everything, protecting the villagers, Naofumi, realizing that the monsters are attacking other civilians, he goes ahead and actually activates a skill which was known as Taunt. At this, he'll go ahead and begin to radiate this aura that draws monsters to him, as he actually begins to taunt them to coming near him. Come on. Are y'all chickens or something? Too afraid to go ahead and challenge me? He would say. This would just take off the monsters as they rush at Naofumi, who goes ahead and says, bad idea. As his fist would then be wrapped up in armament hockey, as he goes ahead and barrages all of them with punches. Well, man, this was much easier than I expected, Naofumi would think. However, just when suddenly his senses will begin to act up. No! At this, he instantly vanishes and goes towards Raphtalia, who is right now taking care of the monsters, as Naofumi would then appear right next to her. Naofumi? She would say. At this, suddenly Naofumi would then cover both of them, as he would point his shield upward. At this, suddenly a ginormous amount of, rocks and everything just come flying from the sky, as it destroys a bunch of the monsters while also attacking Naofumi and Raphtalia. Wow, you're pretty tough, aren't you, Shield Hero? At this, Naofumi goes ahead and looks, as he will then see a bunch of the soldiers from the kingdom, one of them having a smug look on his face. Jeez, I know this man does not get laid, thought Naofumi, as he laughed at his own little joke. However, this is when he didn't realize the seriousness of the situation. They attacked even though they knew we were here. At this, Raphtalia, getting in a fit of anger, would then go dash off at amazing speeds that the others cannot even comprehend, as she would then appear right in front of the man, slicing a bit of his cheek, causing the man to back up in fear. You knew that we were here, and you still attacked us? I should kill you. At this, the man was now fearing for his life, but this is when Naofumi walks up. Don't worry. I mean, they did the job. At this, the man was actually surprised that his shield hero would actually defend him, but however, this is when Naofumi's expression will then take a very dark turn. Besides, it's not like they're gonna stay alive for this. At this, the men were confused until suddenly, next thing you know, the men will go ahead and begin to turn around, only to see a beast rushing at them and killing them off. At this, Naofumi would sit there and just watch most of the knights die, especially the one who went ahead and attacked them, the smug one. As when after seeing all the destruction and everything, Naofumi goes ahead and sighs. Alright, now it's time to take care of it. Raphtalia, you bet, she would say. At this, she goes ahead and pulls out her sword and dashes off to take down the beast, while Naofumi takes on the other ones. Bring it on, I'll beat you to a bloody pulp. Man, I love fighting, he would think. At this, Naofumi would then go ahead and actually change his shield to the twin-headed dog one, which if you guys don't know, Naofumi actually went to that dungeon like he did before. It was actually able to go ahead and get this shield. So at this, the twin dog one would actually go ahead and grab hold of the beast, actually trapping him in place, as Naofumi would go ahead and begin to activate the power of the power of the Quake. As his fist began to take in a whitish glow, Raphtalia, already seeing it coming, would instantly dash off to the side, considering the fact that anything that was in range of this thing would be pulverized. At this, Naofumi would then punch the air, as it will go ahead and cause a crack, as suddenly the ginormous amount of monsters that was actually rushing towards Naofumi and everyone would then automatically be destroyed in an instant. What? Thought some of the villagers. So they were actually looking at all of this in shock, as all the beasts that were just there were pulverized to the ground, and all that remained was a big crater. Man, I love my abilities, Naofumi would say, as there was nothing better than kicking ass by going ahead and pretty much causing a miniature earthquake. At this, eventually eventually the waves would begin to die down, as Naofumi and Raphtalia had actually went ahead and protected the village. Although Naofumi went ahead and did have to pay them a little bit of money, considering the fact he was the cause of the ginormous crater that was now in the middle of the village. But everyone really didn't mind, considering the fact that if Naofumi didn't do that, then who knows what could have happened. Even though Naofumi would never admit it to anyone that he could have defeated the monsters without using that ability. Like, come on now. Just imagine you're able to cause earthquakes, but you're not really able to do it, considering the fact of how much damage you would cause to the environment. Like, come on now. So after that whole, Tabasco and everything, no, we go ahead and do a change of scene to when everyone goes ahead and is now arrived at the place where they get their awards. At this, the king goes ahead and begins to talk to the rest of the heroes, saying about how good they did, completely ignoring Naofumi, who went ahead and saved an entire village. But hey, at least he saved an entire village. So after that, the king will go ahead and give all the heroes money, as he goes ahead and actually gives Naofumi only a little bit. Not that Naofumi cared. Whatever, he would say. At this, however, one hero actually steps up, as that was actually, Rin. Sir, your majesty, why does Naofumi get a small amount? He would ask. At this, just before the king responded, Moriyasu thought it should be apparent that he should be the center of attention because he has a small ego, as he goes ahead and begins to explain that he did nothing during the entire wave and probably just sat there. At this, everyone began to snicker at Naofumi's expense, much to Raphtalia's hatred, but Naofumi was like, no, I got this. As he would then release his conqueror's spirit and his bloodlust, shutting everyone up. Watch your tone, Moriyasu. I don't like you, and if I wanted to, I could have killed you. And besides, we all know how pathetic weak you are. I mean, shoot, look at you pissing yourself right now. At this is when suddenly Moriyasu didn't even realize it, but he had literally soiled himself from being in the conqueror's spirit of Naofumi. At this, everyone would look in to see that, the wetness that's now part of his robe, as mine and everyone in the Moriyasu's party would actually be embarrassed, as Rin can't help but actually begin to laugh, as well as Izuki, as they're like, geez man, you actually got scared that much? As they couldn't believe that he was that afraid. At this, Moriyasu slowly but became the laughingstock, as the majesty was now glaring at the shield hero. How dare he to do that to the spear hero, he would think. At this, Naofumi goes ahead and shrugs, as they go ahead and actually arrive at this dinner party. Wow, there's so many things to try, said Raphtalia, as she goes ahead and begins to take plates and plates of food. At this, Naofumi, seeing all this, will go ahead and just sigh, as he then says, don't go overboard or you'll get fat. And what did that got him? A person trying to kick him in the face, as that was Raphtalia. She then says, you don't say that to a girl. At this, he's like, yeah, you're right. If I did not know said person, but you remember the last time you went ahead and did something like this? At this, Naofumi would then recall a memory of the one time he took Raphtalia to a buffet. Raphtalia gained so much, like a lot of weight, that it literally took them almost forever to go ahead and lose it. Even when Naofumi went ahead and grinded up just for her to lose it, it still wasn't enough. At this, Raphtalia has the decency to blush and says, I was hungry, okay? He's like, you ate an entire buffet. You know how much that cost me? He would say, and of course, fake anger. Although he could already feel all the money in his inventory shaking at the thought. They lost so much of their brethren during that time. At this, Raphtalia just pouts as she goes back to eating, as Raphtalia goes ahead and begins to pretty much just completely eat her food. Naofumi just shrugs as he goes ahead and picks up a plate of food, sits back in the background, and continues eating. At this, Mine looking at the shield hero and obviously being a bitch and does not want him to have any course of fun. Now to everyone here saying, oh my god, you can't call Mine a bitch. That's literally her name in the show now. Or at least, literally that's her name in the show. So, at this, Mine being a bitch goes ahead and decides that, he doesn't deserve happiness. So she goes and walks to Moriyasu as she begins to say something. At this, Moriyasu's face would then take one of shock, then to pure anger, as he begins to march over to Naofumi. At this, suddenly he would then shout, "Is it true what I heard?" He would say. At this, everyone would stop as they look at Naofumi and Moriyasu. He's like, "Jeez, dude, what's your problem, man?" At this, Moriyasu was angry. "Is it true? Is it true that Raphtalia is a slave?" At this, everyone would begin to, look at Naofumi as Raphtalia goes ahead and walks over, only to be stopped by a bunch of guards. "I don't know where you heard your source of information, you simp, but as you can obviously tell, no, I even asked her if she wanted to join my party." At this, mine will go ahead and speak up. "Liar! I said the shield hero. However, this is when she will be shutting up by a bunch of bubbleless. Speak one more time and I'll have your head." At this, she will go ahead and quake in fear as Moriyasu, getting angry, will try to attack Naofumi, but Naofumi will go ahead and kick him in the stomach, sending him flying. "Try some shit against me. Trust me, you won't win this." At this is when suddenly the king would then speak up. "Enough!" At this, he goes ahead and declares that, the shield hero and the spear hero would have a duel. At this, everyone will begin to snicker and laugh, thinking that Moriyasu was going to win, as Moriyasu will instantly accept. As for Naofumi, he just shrugs. I mean, it's not like as if my opinion even matters, especially since all you ever do is walk all over it. At this, we go ahead and do a change of scene as Raphtalia, who was actually being held by guards, would go ahead and push them all away as Naofumi goes ahead and sees her walk over to him. Now at this, everyone goes ahead and sees all this as Moriyasu, thinking that he was some sort of noble gentleman, tries to stop her, be like, "You don't have to go over there to him. I'll protect you," and this is when she once again gets kneed in the gut. "Shut up." At this, she goes ahead and begins to walk over to Naofumi, as she then tells, "You better beat the brakes off this guy, alright? It's already bad enough that they accuse me of being a slave, and why is that? It's because I'm a demi-human? These people have no shame whatsoever," she would say. At this, Naofumi's like, "Don't worry about it. I'll make sure he suffers." At this, the king would then announce the battle between the shield hero and the spear hero. At this, Moriyasu goes ahead and gets prepared for battle, as he goes ahead and turns to him. "This is your last chance. Release Miss Raphtalia," he would say, trying to sound noble as hell. At this, Naofumi just narrows his eyes. He then says, "What is your obsession with me?" At this, Moriyasu would be confused, like, "What? I don't have an obsession with you." But Naofumi's like, No. You have an obsession with me. Literally, as soon as I appear, you instantly bring your attention to me for some reason. You try to start a fight with me, even though I do not care about you. I'd literally try not even talking to you. But you seem like the one who wants to initiate conversation. At this, Moriyasu was now confused. He's like, "But whatever, you're trying to psych me out." At this, Naofumi goes ahead and says, "You literally approach me. You were literally the cause of all of this. Literally, all I was doing was eating, and next thing you know, you walk up to me." And this is where Moriyasu goes ahead and begins to shout, "That's because you went ahead and have a slave." At this, Naofumi goes ahead and says, "First of all, do you really think I'm so low to go ahead and go that far? Or let me guess, that bitch over there told you that I didn't." At this, he goes ahead and turns to mine, as Moriyasu goes ahead and says, "How dare you? You shouldn't say that about her." At this, Naofumi goes ahead and shrugs. There's no point in trying to talk to a simp. Whatever. Because, I'm about to make sure, I'm going to go ahead and give you this warning. And I'll make sure this fight is not going to be a fight. No, this is going to be torture. Because I'm going to make sure that you remember this. I do not give two fucks about you, your life, or whatever it is. But you should keep your nose out of my business. Because let me tell you right now, if you don't, at this, once again, ginormous amount of bloodless will shoot throughout the entire arena. I'll kill you. At this, everyone was now, scared now, but still Moriyasu goes ahead and takes a stance. As the king goes ahead and begins to announce the matches between the spear hero and the sword hero. The spear hero and the shield hero. Ready? Begin! At this, Moriyasu dashes off at Naofumi as he goes ahead and begins to attack him with a bunch of fast attacks. However, Naofumi's speed was way too much for this man. Plus, with the observation hockey, Naofumi was able to see all the attacks coming and dodge each one of them swiftly. "You're fast, I'll give you that." At this, Moriyasu will be gritting his teeth and says, "Flattery's getting you nowhere. Meteor Spear, now!" he would say as he goes ahead and shoots a Meteor Spear at Naofumi, who once again dodges it. Jeez, okay. At this, getting angry, he goes ahead and tries to use a lightning spear, trying to hit Naofumi, but that pretty much failed. Alright, are you done? Bet, my turn. At this, he goes ahead and uses his shield to block the attack of Moriyasu, as Moriyasu was now in shock, as Naofumi's fist would then be coated in arm and hockey. My turn, bitch. At this, he begins to go ahead and beat the living snot out of Moriyasu. Like, bro, this man is going ham on this guy. As Moriyasu can't even comprehend what was happening. As each one of these hit felt like he was getting hit by a freaking truck or something. As he began to feel multiple blows all over, he would then be punched in the chest, getting sent flying, as Naofumi was not done. However, this is when his senses begin to act up. Damn it. As suddenly a wind spell would then be shot at him, as Naofumi then jumps up in the air. At this, Naofumi had effectively dodged the wind spell, much to my dismay, who actually was the one to shoot the spell. Dang it, she would think. At this, Moriyasu, who was now just getting up, who actually saw Naofumi in the air, would then smile. Alright, take this. Fire Spear, he would say. At this, the Fire Spear will go ahead and rush at Naofumi, who goes ahead and looks at it. Alright, bet, he would say. At this, Naofumi would then go ahead and activate his ability. As his fist begins to get coated in a whitish glow, he would then punch the air, causing the air to crack, as everyone was shocked at this. What is this? All the one think. As suddenly a ginormous gust of wave, like a ginormous wave of wind, goes ahead and gets shot throughout the crack, as Moriyasu would then be slammed to the ground, as a ginormous crater was formed, as literally a miniature earthquake was going throughout the entire Coliseum. What the heck is going on? Shouted everyone. At this, Raftalia goes ahead and just looks at this and completely in disbelief. Jeez, I know I said to put him in his place, but come on now. That was just, you did not have to do that. As Naofumi had activated his Quake ability, as he went ahead and actually finally reached the floor to see Moriyasu, who was now in the crater, completely beaten up and bruised. At this, his face was literally unrecognizable due to the fact of how much blood was all over it. Curse him, said a deep voice. At this, Moriyasu was right now gritting his teeth. Why couldn't he win? He was a spear hero. Naofumi was just a shield. Do you want to win? Said a voice. At this, Moriyasu goes ahead and says, well, obviously I do, but I just can't for some reason. Then you must tap into my power in order to do so. At this, Moriyasu goes ahead and was confused, as he would then look at this dark aura, as he decides that he was going to take it. Back with Naofumi would go ahead and look at Moriyasu, who was now on the ground, unconscious, as Mine was shouting for her dear hero to go ahead and get up, but he was not responding. Cursed devil, the shield, what did you do to him? Shouted the king. At this, Naofumi just shrugged. I put him in his place. You're the one who initiated the fight. Remember, oh so dearly, king, he would say with a smirk, pissing off the king even further. Devil of the shield, he would say. However, this is when the king would then be pushed back, as suddenly Moriyasu would have gotten up, but this time his spear would look different. It was now black, and it looked bigger now, as it had burn marks all over. Naofumi, Moriyasu would say, as he looked deranged. He looked like a demon. At this, seeing her hero, Mai would then shout, yes, use the power of the hero to slay the devil of the shield, she would say. But that was not everyone else's reaction. What's wrong with the shield? What's wrong with the spear hero? He looks so demonic. What is this? At this, they're all looking at this in pure horror, as Rin and Itsuki were just right now looking on in shock. They saw Mai shoot the spell at Naofumi, who obviously dodged it. As they were right now looking at all this, what the heck is going on here? At this, they go ahead and then see Moriyasu attack him. However, it was not the same way he was fighting earlier. This time, he was fighting more animalistic, as he was attacking Naofumi, literally not even using any type of form to fight. He was literally just attacking him like a wild animal. As Naofumi was dodging this, he's like, jeez, dude, you have anger issues. I literally told you I do not care about this stupid victory or anything. Why can't you just leave me alone? But you know what? I forgot dogs like you need to be put in their place. At this, Naofumi would then go ahead and activate a certain skill. Now this skill, he didn't really know how he got it. He just imagined that one day when he was training, automatically the skill had appeared. This skill only had activated as soon as he got his arm in hockey to a certain level of mastery. As Naofumi would then go ahead and use an airstrike shield to go ahead and push himself up, once again dodging an attack, as using another one to go ahead and jump back down. Alright, that's it. It's about time I teach you a lesson. At this, Naofumi will go ahead and get into a stance. He'll bring his shield close to his face. He then shouts, "Shield crash." Next thing you know, all they hear was cracking, as suddenly Naofumi's defense would have gone down, only by a little bit. However, his attack and his defense would have rose up. His attack and speed would have gone up to an unimaginable extent. As Moriyasu was still pure in rage, rushes at Naofumi. Just like that, Naofumi would vanish. What? As suddenly, after Naofumi had once again appeared, the only thing people saw was a blur. As Moriyasu at first looked fine, however, next thing you know, he felt blows from all over, as all you could hear was a scream of pure agony from the spear hero as he hits the ground. At this, Naofumi went ahead. In that split second, he coated his fist in armament hockey, and he barraged Moriyasu with multiple punches of armament hockey to the point where he literally destroyed his bones. As Moriyasu was now on the ground, bleeding heavily, as he even had some interior bleeding, Mine would begin to shout at all, mages to begin healing him, scared for her favorite hero's life. At this, everyone else would watch in shock, as Naofumi would then say, "Well, I win," as he walks off as if he did not just literally beat the shit out of a hero. "Come on, Raphtalia, let's leave these losers," he would say. At this, Raphtalia would say, would go ahead and come along with him, before shooting Mine a smirk saying, "Oh, what's wrong? Crying for your favorite hero?" As she goes ahead and walks off. Mine, who was looking at all this, just couldn't comprehend, while Rin and Itsuki were just looking at all this in shock, as they would really begin to contemplate who should they trust right now. Mine had just proven how far she would go, as they actually decided that they were going to confront her about it. As when they go ahead and arrive over there, they actually begin to confront her. "Why did you attack Naofumi?" he would ask. At this, she would go ahead and begin to lie, saying, she didn't, and how could they be thinking of something like that right now while the Moriyasu-sama was hurt. At this, they go ahead and begin to say that they saw her attack him. At this, the king, already knowing that his daughter was in a very bad position, begins to shout at them, saying that he was the king and that they will order him, that they will listen to him, and that they would not go ahead and question his daughter's actions. At this, the heroes begin to realize that the king, or at least two of the heroes begin to realize that the king may not be what he was. Now, I personally believe, in the hero thing, the only hero that seemed sort of not that much of a dumbass was really Rin and Itsuki, even though Itsuki was being some sort of a butt during that time when he's like, "Oh, you stole our quest and everything." So yeah, but Rin, he actually was catching on. The only thing that was stopping him was that he didn't care. So yeah. So with that, they began to wonder who could they trust in this kingdom. So after that, Naofumi would actually walk off, as he then says, "Now it's finally time for us to go ahead and head out," he would say. At this, Raphtalia would nod in excitement, going to a new part of the city. That's very exciting. So with that, the two I guess you could say adventurers go off and continue on with their journey, leaving the now beaten, bruised, and bloody pulp Moriyasu behind. As this will be the end for part 2 of What If Naofumi was in the shield here. Wait, what? What if Naofumi had Whitebeard's powers? I hope you guys do enjoy. And yeah, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button. I will be posting a Naruto What If today, not knowing when, but just letting you know I'm posting today. But besides that, it is Sage Samurai, and I'm out. Peace.